Bodhi. You may know him as Pierce Maker Studios or as Pumpkin Productions, but I know him as my arch enemy. And as enemies, it's only appropriate for me to react and destroy his recently released top 25 coasters. That the link to the original video will be down in the description below, and I recommend you go check it out because he has a great channel. But I don't like this man. This man is an enemy to me. And for that reason, strictly alone, and not for the fact that I want to watch this, I'm reacting to his top 25. It's about 13 minutes long. This video is probably going to be longer. But without any more further ado, let's get into this video.
Alright everybody, it's time for my new top 25 roller coasters I've ridden. I've ridden many roller coasters since my last 25. My last 25 was in 2020.
I didn't even know you then.
I've been to Cedar Point, I've been to Six Flags Great Adventure, a couple other parks too. So yeah, I am absolutely excited for you guys to see my new top 25. So let's get straight into it. Starting off the list is a coaster I did not expect to be in here. This is the Coney Island Cyclone. I love this ride. It was absolutely insane. I really didn't expect it to be that great, but I rode in the very front.
It looks like a great ride. It does look like a really good ride. Airtime looks pretty awesome. Laterals look incredible. Top 25 worthy? I mean, it could, but I don't know.
Bro, and that first turn literally, like, yanked you to the side. Like, it almost hurt. Actually, it did hurt. All the other turns had some pretty good laterals, too. It had some really good airtime, and the whole thing was really smooth. So I love this coaster. I couldn't really ask for much more. It's also really long. Number 24 is Maverick at Cedar Point. I like this ride a lot. I even love it, but I don't think it's as good as people say it is. A lot of people actually are saying this ride is better than Steel Vengeance in the same park, and I couldn't disagree more. This ride, it's really good, but I don't even think it's second best in the park, honestly.
I love Maverick. I can't even say anything else. I just adore Maverick. It's such a good ride. And I understand if it's not your cup of tea, but personally, I think it's the best ride at Cedar Point by a long shot. But even 24 is just really low. And I'll talk about Steel Vengeance later, because I know this is on this list. I have some words.
Number 23 is Twisted Cyclone at Six Flags Over Georgia. I like this ride a lot. However, it was running really, really slow in 2022. I don't know what was wrong with it. I know it's a really good ride. That's why I didn't drop it out of my top 25. I know what this thing can do, but it was just not doing it for me in 2022. I really hope it's running better in 2023, because if it does that slow thing again, then I don't think I'll be able to keep it in my top 25. Number 22 is Kraken at SeaWorld Orlando. This ride is very, very overhated. Not overrated, overhated. A lot of people just trash on this ride, say it's really forceless, and it's also just really rough. I do think it's rough. It's not smooth. It's just not. But I can look past that and see that it is really forceful, and yeah, it's just a really good ride overall. Number 21 is...
Twisted Cyclone's a great ride. I'm just going to say that. Don't really have anything else to say about it. It's just RMCs are RMCs. Not Twisted Cyclone. Dude, you got to fix that. Like, that's annoying, but I understand editing takes a long time. Kraken is a great ride. Like, I have it in my... Actually, I think I have it a couple spots higher than this. The first half is very basic, but it takes it, like, insanely fast. But then the second half is a lot more creative, a lot more different from a lot of B&M Floorlesses. But, yeah, this thing is not smooth, but it's so forceful. And the roughness almost adds to the intensity. So, that's a good spot.
Magnum XL200 at Cedar Point. A lot of people do
too low.
Not like Magnum because this is a rough ride. If you do not like rough rides, you will not like Magnum. However, I really like it, especially because of those airtime hills at the end. They're absolutely immaculate and insane. It almost hurts your thighs. I actually have bruises on my thighs because of this. I'm one of the people who really like Magnum, though. Starting off the top 20, we have Mako at Cedar Orlando. This is their B&M Hypercoaster. I absolutely love this ride. This is my second favorite B&M Hyper. I mean, what's not to love? It has so much floater airtime and actually some flowjector airtime. And yeah, I've had absolutely...
I don't understand the hype around this ride. I mean, we rode it together. Like, we had such differing opinions, because I think it's one of the most mediocre B&M hypers I've been on. But other people are like, it's the greatest. But second half the first half is great. First drop is awesome. 5-second floater hill is incredible. Speed hill is awesome. The second half just kills it for me. Like, it was fun, but it doesn't do anything. Like, I can look past a part of a ride for being bad just because it's fun. But there's a certain point where it goes from a high thrill ride to bona fide family coaster. So,
amazing rides on this. It's a GP magnet. It's an enthusiast magnet. Like, what's not to love? One-upping Mako is Icebreaker at Cedar Orlando. I absolutely adore this ride. It has so much ejector airtime. They market it as a family coaster, but that is absolutely untrue. I'm sure they made it to be a family coaster, but it is not a family coaster in the slightest. There are more thrill coasters everywhere that are less thrilling than Icebreaker. Number 18 is the Hollywood Rip Ride Rocket.
I gotta talk about that. Icebreaker is a great ride. I love the layout. It's not a family coaster, but the trains kill it, man. Those restraints suck. Like, everything else about it is so good, but then the trains are just awful. And yeah, like you said, ejector airtime crazy. Launches are actually some good kick. So far I quite like the list. So let's get to this next one.
A lot of people just give this ride complete crap and actually call it one of the worst roller coasters in the entire world. I couldn't disagree more. It's one of my favorite roller coasters. You get to choose your music. It's actually not that rough. I mean, it is kind of rough, but I don't really care. The airtime going up to the mid-course brake runs makes the loss of speed worth it, and you can't even get past that non-inverting loop.
Okay, so Hollywood Rip Ride Rocket. Look, I'm biased against it because it doesn't have any Avenged Sevenfold that I can listen to. Like, if I could listen to this while riding, oh, it'd be number one. Like, come on, man. But overall, I mean, it looks fine, I guess. I mean, the ride peaks after this, like, from the lift hill to the second mid course. It's pretty good, but after that, it just loses everything because it loses all of its speed. But yeah, whenever I was a GP and I rode it, that thing terrified me. But I mean, it's just kind of fine.
Number 17 is Montu at Busch Gardens, Tampa. I flat out love this roller coaster. It is so intense. It's my second favorite B&M invert. I just love this ride. Make sure when you go to Busch Gardens, you check the refurbishment schedule because you cannot miss out on this classic B&M.
Montu's great. I like Montu. I think it's the best B&M invert. Yeah, I don't really have anything to say about this. I mean, it's good. Also, I'm 4 minutes in and I've already been recording for like 9 minutes. I should probably hurry up. No, I'm not gonna skip over stuff.
Number 16 is the Incredible Hulk roller coaster.
Yes, Hulk is awesome. Is it better than Kraken? Maybe. I have to get back on it. But Hulk is incredible.
I think this is one of the most well-rounded roller coasters in the entire world. There are forces for everybody. There are many positive Gs. There's not much airtime, but there are some laterals in there too. It is remarkably smooth, especially because it is so old, although it did just get its big retrack. This ride is just so awesome. Number 15.
Yeah, the positive Gs are incredible. The main thing I love is the launch and just the whole, like, spectacle of the Cobra Roll and vertical loop. over the water. That is gorgeous. I love that. I mean, I think it's the most unique B&M looper. And yeah, Universal takes beautiful care of it.
Seen as Twisted Timbers at King's Dominion. I absolutely love this ride. It has so much airtime. I really do not think they could have done any better at the layout that they had to work with. Number 14 is Millennium Force.
That was short. Yeah, Twisted Timbers is awesome. I'm just gonna hurry over that one because it's another RMC. What are you gonna do? RMC is RMC.
At Cedar Point, the original Giga roller coaster. I love this roller coaster so much. It is remarkably smooth for how old it is. It was built in 2000, so that's absolutely amazing. It's butter smooth, especially in the front. In the back, it has the slightest vibration, but it does not impact the ride in the slightest. I actually got to ride this ride in the rain in the front row, so that was insane.
Bodhi, I'm sorry. Millennium Force doesn't even crack my top 50. I probably need a better ride on it, but it's just been falling the past couple years. Yeah, it looks like a fun ride, but it's not what I'm looking for. Personally, yeah, not what I'm looking for. Yeah.
Number 13 is Kingda Ka, the world's tallest roller coaster. I was a little worried going into this roller coaster. I really thought it was going to be rough,
looks awesome.
But it wasn't. It was buttery smooth up front. It did definitely have a shimmy in the back row, but I can get past that. Just ride in any car except the back, and you'll be fine, honestly. Also, the launch sound on this roller coaster is absolutely amazing. You got to hear it. This may be a...
Kingda Ka looks incredible. I've done top Doge Raxer, and that just narrowly misses my top 20 or 25. Kingda Ka looks crazy. That launch, nothing will beat that sound. Like, I love the sound of an LSM launch, but that hydraulic, just the wind up is beautiful.
Surprise to some people. Coming in at number 12 is going to be Lightning Rod at Dollywood. I love this ride to pieces. However, it is really a shadow of its former self. How it used to run in 2016 is just not how it runs and now. I really wish they could find a way to keep this ride reliable, but also keep it running fast, because right now it's just not running really fast. It is more reliable than it used to be, but it's just running really slow this year, and I had to drop it. I think if they made all iBox tracks and then got rid of the trim brake at the top of the thing and also sped up the launch again, I think this ride could climb back in my top 5, potentially.
Yeah, I mean, I only just recently got to ride it, so I don't have a comparison to how it ran originally, but yeah, it just looks like it runs so much slower now. I remember watching the original POV, and that thing tore through the layout. I mean, absolutely flew. But yeah, it's still a great ride because it's an RMC, but I wish they could speed it back up.
11 is Goliath Six Flags Over Georgia. I love this ride. Actually, the first time I ever rode it, I really didn't like it at all. I didn't even have it in my top 50. Now I am about ready to crown it as a top 10 roller coaster. Not quite yet, but oh my god, this ride has straight up ejector airtime for a B&M Hyper. This is my favorite B&M Hyper. And then I've blacked out before. This is actually the only roller coaster I've legitimately almost passed out on.
Goliath is fantastic. I mean, there's really nothing else I can say about it other than the fact that it is a fantastic ride. Just the entire thing about it is the fact that it's so intense. I mean, it doesn't just focus on airtime. It has positive Gs, it has laterals. It's probably one of the most well-rounded B&Ms I've ever been on. And yes, I do think it is also the best B&M Hyper.
Number 10 is Fear 325 at Carowinds. I will always have...
Bodhi, you're killing me. You know, I'll save my thoughts for after.
A soft spot for this roller coaster, as it was my first ever number 1 roller coaster, and it stayed with me for a while as my number 1. but I did have to come to the fact that there are roller coasters that are better than it, and we're about to see some of them right here.
Look, there is one coaster I have higher than Fury 325. Fury is what I believe to be the best B&M ever built. Like, the whole ride is just perfect, in my opinion. It's perfectly designed at all points. And seeing it, well, it is still number 10, but, like, in my opinion, for me, it's never dropped lower than number 2 or 3. I don't think it's ever been number 3 on my list. It's always either been 1 or 2. Sure, I could be missing something. I haven't ridden it over a year, but still, it makes me sad seeing it this low and knowing that it deserves better than number 10.
9 is Velocicoaster at Universal's Islands of Adventure. I want to get a couple things out of the way before I bash this roller coaster. So, I absolutely love this ride to death. The theming is absolutely amazing. The ride experience is amazing. The top hat is great. The Mosasaurus roll is the best inversion I have experienced. I love all the airtime in the first half. However, it is not the best roller coaster in the world. I don't understand how just a couple of airtime moments in the first half, a launch, and then a top hat automatically makes you say this partway through the ride.
Oh my gosh, this is the best ride I've ever ridden. Out of 300 and something coasters.
I mean, yeah, Velocicoaster looks cool. I don't have anything else to say about it. It just looks fine.
It's Thunderhead at Dollywood. I love this ride to bits. Most people don't like this ride as much as I do. I am like Thunderhead fanboy. I have this ride in my top 10. Where do I start? This ride is so intense. It has positives, which is insane for a wooden roller coaster. It has airtime all over the place. And it overall just has a very welcoming atmosphere to the ride. And it's just something I cannot get enough of. And it's overall just one of my favorite rides I've ever ridden. If I could put this higher, I would, but there's just no room.
Yeah, Thunderhead is awesome. I adore Thunderhead. I think I even have it higher than him. But, yeah, it's just a crazy ride. I got insane, like, almost standing ejector on some of the hills. And yeah, I mean, just like he said, it has positives, it has laterals, it has airtime, it has everything. It is the most well-rounded wooden roller coaster I've ever been on, and I think it might be the highest ranked wooden coaster I've been on.
Number 7 is Pantheon at Busch Gardens, Williamsburg. What I would like to call this is a bigger, much bigger version of Icebreaker at SeaWorld Orlando, and I love that ride. The fact that this goes 70 miles per hour over its switch track is absolutely insane, and literally makes it feel like it is trying to eject you from the train laterally and vertically.
I've never been a big fan of Pantheon's layout. I never thought it looked super great. I don't know. The switch track looks good. The stall looks great, but other than that, nothing really speaks to me. I mean, the Outer Bank, it looks fine, but I don't know, just not something that screams number 1 in the world to me. Yeah, or even top 10. I doubt it will be. I don't know if it'll make top 20, but I mean, it looks like a fine ride, good for the park.
That is why I think this ride is better than Velocicoaster, by a long shot. Number 6 is the Jersey Devil roller coaster. When I rode this ride, I loved it so much. I didn't think it'd be top 6, but when I rode it for the last time, oh my god, I love this ride. I actually thought I wasn't gonna like this ride a lot because I've heard it has a lot of pacing issues. In this video, it definitely looks like it does, but I guess I just caught it on a really good day, and the trims were not hitting. It was running really fast, and it was just running amazing. So I'm low-key scared to go back to ruin it. Starting off the top 5.
Yeah, Jersey Devil looks pretty cool. I think Wonder Woman Flight of Courage looks better, the clone of it. But, overall, I just think it's a good-looking ride. Top 10 or even top 6 worthy? I don't know. I don't know about that. Honestly, doesn't look super great. But yeah, I mean, airtime looks solid. Inversions, the stall looks crazy. Other than that, I mean, it doesn't look super cool.
5, we have Alpengeist to Busch Gardens Williamsburg. This ride
like
is so
this.
intense. The Cobra Roll especially is probably the most intense element I've ever experienced. Definitely the most whippy element I've ever experienced. The rest of the ride is just as intense. If you can't tell, I absolutely love this ride. And somebody actually said having a B&M invert as the best ride at your park is actually horrible, but you should check back for this ride. Number 4 is
Yeah, Alpengeist is insane. There's nothing else to it. Alpengeist is just a honestly bonkers ride. Inversions are really good. I don't have it anywhere near this high. I think it's number 25 actually. But yeah, it is the best ride at the park. Not hard to see that. I just love it. The Cobra Roll was absolutely insane, and I actually prefer it in the front row, the entire ride in the front. So yeah, pretty good.
Number 4 is El Toro at Six Flags Great Adventure. This ride is definitely had its ups and downs through the past couple years with its accidents and everything. But at the end of the day, this ride is absolutely awesome. When it comes to the first drop, the first couple airtime hills, the Rolling Thunder Hill, you have a really strong airtime focused ride with also a ton of positive G's in the pullouts.
Yeah, Lightning Rod looks pretty cool. Not Lightning Rod, El Toro looks pretty cool. I don't have anything else to say about it. It just looks cool.
Number 3 is Intimidator 305 at King's Dominion. This is by far the world's most intense roller coaster, without a doubt. It was actually recalled the year it was built, and they had to reprofile the first turn because it pulled, I believe, about 5 Gs for about 5 seconds. Now it pulls like 5 Gs for 3 seconds, but that is still insane. It's also got those twist and snaps, which are insane. 3 of them back to back, and then 1 right at the end of the ride where you least expect it. This ride is just all around bonkers, and it was my favorite roller coaster for a long time, as was the next roller coaster on this list.
Yeah, Intimidator 305 is insane. I don't think there's any other way to say it. Is it better than Fury, in my opinion? No, it doesn't have the length. But in intensity, I don't think there's anything more intense. The positives are insane. This is the only ride I've blacked out on. Yeah, I just love it. I mean, I think this is one of the few rides that I will truly say I think belongs to be at this spot. But let's just continue.
Number 2 is Steel Vengeance.
What? It's not number 1. Huh. I'll let him finish.
Cedar Point. I love this ride to pieces, and I'm going to explain myself here. So, yeah, I love this ride. It has everything you could want in a coaster. It has airtime. It has a little bit of theming. It has positives all over the place. Not very good ones, but it is scattered throughout the entire ride. It does have laterals all the time, especially during that little stall. However, the quality of the airtime is a little bit not so great. It is very long and drawn out. A lot of it is Flowjector, which is my main problem. I did ride a roller coaster on spring break of 2022 that I do think is the better ride, and it has much stronger airtime, and it really comes down to quality over quantity.
Okay, so Steel Vengeance. God, I'm gonna get so much flack for this. I don't like this ride. I don't. I'm not saying it's a bad ride. I mean, it isn't. There's no way it is. But I just don't like it. It's number 19 on my list. I have rides like Kraken and Wild Eagle above it. That goes to show how little I like this. I think I got burnt out. I've got burnt out from this ride from how much people talk about it, how much people love it. As a person who loves positive G-forces, that's the main thing I love roller coasters for. Airtime is great, but whenever I go back to a ride, I mainly look for positive G-forces, like Intimidator 305 or Maverick has. And for this ride, I don't remember there being like any like noteworthy moments of positive G's at anywhere, at any point. The airtime is at best uncomfortable, just abrupt pops. And then all the most sustained moments are just like flow to the flowjector. So it not only fails at being an intense positive filled ride, it fails at being an airtime filled fun ride. I might just need to rewrite it. I don't think it's going to be number 1. I don't think it's going to be top 5. At best, it might be top 10. But I just don't like it.
And coming in at number 1, my favorite roller coaster of all time is Iron Gwazi at Busch Gardens, Tampa. Wow. Okay, I had bruises on my thighs after this day. I did at Cedar Point too, but that was from Magnum and Steel Vengeance. This was just this because this is basically the only coaster in the park that has airtime. Well, good airtime. Where do I even start? The first drop in the back is absolutely amazing. The death roll is one of the best elements I've ever experienced. I mean, overall, just look at this thing go through the layout. It absolutely zooms through its course like there is no tomorrow, and it's just absolutely amazing to be on that thing, and that is why it is my favorite roller coaster I have ever experienced. My next top 25 roller coaster...
Yeah, Iron Gwazi is my number 1. And I wholeheartedly believe it's the best roller coaster in the world. And it's the best coaster by R.C.E. It's just fantastic. I do love the ride. I love it. And I'm happy to see it finally get the recognition from him. Because I remember when we were talking at the park, and you said it probably wasn't even going to be top 10. And to see it number 1 is incredible. So let's end out the video.
I have ridden will be at the end of 2023 or very early 2024. And expect this list to change a lot because we have a ton of new, really good-looking rides coming for 2023.
Okay, that's just the outro. So, overall thoughts? Yeah, good ride. Or not good ride, good list, I guess. Would I change it? Absolutely. There's a lot I would change on here. There's a lot of stuff I haven't ridden. And overall, I mean, it was an enjoyable watch. 13-minute video, 27-minute video. I talk too much. But, yeah, I'm ending this here. I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.